Hey, this is John Carlos, and I'm here with a review of the Striker Eureka Jaeger figure from Pacific Rim Series 2 by NECA. But technically this isn't from Series 2 because this is a reissue. See, NECA realized that this figure was selling like crazy high on eBay, so they reissued it for those of us who missed out on it the first time. But to not piss off anyone who got it the first time and really cares about the packaging, they changed the packaging to say second deployment. So I think that's really cool of them. Now, Striker Eureka has some pretty interesting articulation. I mean, it's got the usual articulation at the legs, which kind of swing out a little bit and definitely swing forward. Very minimal there. The knee joint's normal, but I do like that it's got this kind of like ball hinge at the ankle. You can't really do a single joint, so I think the ball hinge was a good way to go, considering the design of this one's feet. But what makes this one really interesting to me is the shoulder area. If you take a closer look here, you'll see that it's got the ball joint inside the armpit, and it's got a second ball joint on top of the arm, like an outer ball joint. So you got one hinge here and another hinge there. So you can really get the arm to really kind of pop out quite a bit. So that's cool. I've never really seen that on a NECA figure before, so I really appreciate that. Lastly, his head has very kind of minimal movement, but it does move quite a bit, from side to side at least, but you can't really get him to do much considering his chin's so close to his chest. Oh, and there is the waistline articulation as well. Now, taking a closer look at the paint, I think the best thing about this paint is how dirty they get it to look, because the overall design of this is a pretty simple looking Jaeger, and some of the detailing paint is pretty simple too, but it's the dirt paint that really makes this thing come to life. You can see like his cockpit area there and a little paint on the top for the hatch, but like this sort of galabi paint here, it is what it is. The little vents here. Man, I wish this thing opened, by the way, so you could shoot missiles out of it. That'd be rad. If they did like a 2.0, that'd be cool. This little section here. But if you look at like the rest of him, like you look at his legs, there isn't a lot of like artwork or special details to like highlight with paint. It's a very basic design that's kind of highlight free. But again, what the blue surface lacks in detail, it makes up for in dirtiness. I can't tell if this is like individually hand painted black paint or if it's just sort of a black wash, but either way, it looks really good. Now we'll focus on the arms because there is some paint work going on in the arms that I really dig. There's a lot more to paint inside there with the kind of yellowish white section on black as opposed to just all blue. Oh, and I forgot to mention some articulation on the arm. You do have the basic elbow joint and they have the wrist joint that hinges forward and back, but it does not swing side to side. There's no rotation of the wrist. It just bends forward and back. But the cool articulation is his little blades here, which do have a little paint line on them. Same thing on this side. But one thing that I really like about this figure is the sculpt. Really good work going on the arms. If you even look at his hands, you see the individual like knuckle sculpting there. It's really good work. I mean, the surface overall is very simple. You only really see details within like the stomach and the hands, the kind of joints by his legs. But there's something to be said about capturing this good design. It looks really good. And speaking of capturing a good design, I think they did a good job capturing the little joints that go inside the bottom of his feet. And most importantly, his back and his vents there, like the wings or the fins, whatever the hell you want to call them. But just the fact that he looks like a jet Jaeger, if you will, I think they did a good job with all of that. Looks pretty awesome, I think, as far as like the paint and the dirt in there and the overall shape. Good sculpt. Overall, this figure as a whole is a great example of like a good sculpt and a very simple but effective paint job. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I'm really stoked that NECA reissued it. This is the only Jaeger from Series 2 that I liked. They did the Battle Damage Gypsy Danger. I was really unimpressed by that. It looked more just like dirty Gypsy Danger. So I don't really care if they reissue that. I'm just glad they reissued this. Thanks for watching.